this lab, we used a setup of a flask with a thermometer in it on top of a hot plate, which was set to 5. The flask and the condenser were connected by glass tubing, and the condenser was where the substance was condensed and turned into distillate, which was caught inside the beaker that was sitting under the condenser. We started our first reading when the thermometer inside the flask reached 35 degrees Celsius, and after every minute we checked the temperature. After the first drop of distillate inside the beaker, we lowered the temperature to 2.5 and obtained readings again after every minute. We repeated this process for the 3 substances because each of their boiling points were different and they all needed to be separated accordingly. Each of the 3 substances, the distillate started to fall less frequently into the beaker, and at this point we switched the beakers so that we could start collecting a new substance. To determine the density of each of the 3 substances, we poured the distillate into a graduated cylinder, measured the volume, and then measured the mass on a scale. We then found the density using the formula mass over volume. We used this process to determine the flammability of each of the 3 substances. To determine its flammability, we first dipped a piece of paper into each of the substances and then lit it on fire with a match. If the paper held the flame and then put it out, the substance was flammable. To determine if the substance had the ability to dissolve iodine, we mixed iodine into the substances and saw if it dissolved. To determine the odor of each fraction, we wafted and recorded our observations.